So what I noticed in this book is um, a lot of it seemed to be based around your own acute awareness of the gap between social and conceptual information on the one hand, and like somatic, perceptual, experiential information on the other. And I was curious whether that's something you've always noticed, right? Have you always been skeptical about what other people say is true and about how concepts work in your mind? Or is that an awareness that emerged later through insight practices and certain breakthroughs?
Um, Probably to some degree, and the always is a long time, like always, so that'd be as far back as I can remember, at least, yeah.
Yeah.
Um, so no, I mean, in I've always been a bit, what do you say? Hmm, contrary, you know, like I don't, as far as I can remember, I don't just go along with the flow and accept things necessarily. But no, I was ignorant little fuck when I was a child and a teenager. I mean, I did contemplate. I didn't have it like a formal thing. I just did it spontaneously, you know, and made breakthroughs, and that made a difference. And then in the martial world, I made huge breakthroughs that made an incredible difference, you know. So I became a big fan of insight. Okay. And that it can really make a difference, not just a philosophical one, not just a belief system that you have to convince yourself of. I mean, you change the way you perceive reality. They change the um, I use the word consciousness a lot. Not everybody does, but what you become conscious of, like for example, the principles behind something in the martial, for example, that really make a difference. I mean, a profound difference, demonstrable difference, you know, and I've demonstrated it. Okay, see, it's the demonstrable difference. It's not just like I'm good, kind of bullshit. No, I mean it's totally different. And so, and then with the consciousness work also, you see, same thing. And but like you, as you may have read, that I was 21 when I first started having what they call enlightenment experiences. Not spontaneously, I worked on it. Okay, contemplation, shit like that, right? And huge, boom, 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 breakthroughs for a while. It got deeper and deeper, and now that changed everything. See, so that created, and it's very hard for people to hear who haven't had such a thing, right? Um, the way I like to say it is it created some nothing from which to come. It's like it created a freedom from all the reality, the experience, the assumptions that we live as, you see, because it creates a contrast that isn't any of that. It's free from all of that. It's even free from time and space and shit like that. I don't like to say that because it sounds so stupid. But it's like it's just and so that helped a great deal in my work, in my studies. You see, a lot of times people think that I think people think, and it sounds to me like people think that, well, if I get enlightened, I'll know everything and everything will be resolved and solved. No, you'll know the absolute truth. That's all. You'll still be a dumb fuck if you're a dumb fuck. Okay. You know what I'm saying? See, and you'll be a little bit wiser, dumb fuck. Okay. Like that, you'll have some different perspective there. See, but then to make breakthroughs in like what mind is, what communication is, what reality is, what culture is, what self is, etc. That usually takes more work. You see, but the enlightenment helps tremendously to do that. You see, because again, you have some freedom, some like you can get out of the context in which everybody else is trapped. You see, and then you go, oh wow, and that doesn't change that you are also trapped. Okay, in the same thing everybody else is trapped, that we are trapped in, because you and I can't have this conversation without the bodies and the speaking and the language and the assumptions, etc., that create a world for us we can talk, right? See, we don't have any choice about that. Now we can have lots and lots of stupid ideas and things, that could come and go. But basically, the kind of the foundation of it all, right? We're subject to, kind of like what Rumi said, I didn't come to this house of drunks on my own, and I can't leave that way. Say, I can't leave on my own accord, kind of thing. Okay, that's a little off topic, perhaps, but in any case, so even though the content of your experience might primarily remain the same, I mean, sure, some stuff can just disappear. Some ideas, some things that they're just stupid and they're dysfunctional, right? Those things can just disappear, right? And go, because you recognize them as that, you see, and you don't want to keep stupid ideas around. There's no reason to, you see, if you recognize something is stupid and dysfunctional, you throw it away. Yeah. So in any case, but the content, like I am, see, I am a person. I live in the country. I have a culture. I relate socially to people. I use this language, etc. All that stays the same. I have feelings. I have thoughts. You see, that doesn't stop as long as you don't stop. See, and there's the rub. I recommend to people they stop, but that's a different matter. Okay, we're starting to go out on a limb there. All right, when I start saying things like, you are the problem. See, and everybody wants themselves to be resolved. See, to be the solution. And I say, well, no. See, you're not going to be the solution because you're the problem. And I could go on for a few hours about that, but let's get back to suffering.
Thanks for watching. If you find value in the work we're doing here and want to get involved, I have some invitations for you. Join the newsletter and get real insights and weekly facilitation. Check out the school community, the Consciousness Path, and engage with others who are doing this work and access free course material. And if you're serious and want to have major insights and breakthroughs for yourself, you're invited to join a workshop. They're more powerful than you think. Links for all this can be found in the description below. Ciao for now.